Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and please go check out the other videos that may pertain to you for your sun, moon, or rising signs, and that'll give you a much more dynamic picture of what's going on this week and in the monthly videos and so forth too. So let's get right into it and see what it is that Leo needs to know for this coming week. 6 of discs to start us out. All right, we're going to lay out the 10 cards for our Celtic cross as we usually do, but we're also going to lay out an 11th card, and that is our confirmation card. It is the number of magic. 11 is the continuation of the spiral. So we're calling that our confirmation card, and I'm going to take that and put that right here. I'm not even going to look at it until the very end. That is our confirmation card. So the first card that we came to today was the 6 of discs. So I feel like this is really a strong time for you to focus on your work, on your career, on your finances. I think you're really getting everything in order. I think everything is really balanced. The checkbook's balanced, the account is balanced. But I think your energy is balanced and your success is balanced, and it's in harmony with kind of your expectations, with what you've been trying to achieve, what you've been working toward. And crossing your path this week is that High Priestess. So what I think is going on here, the energy that I'm getting, is that you're going to see a real increase in your productivity, a real increase in your income, your revenue, the tangible results of the work that you're doing. And I think it's because you're in just a really, really good place. It seems like things are really just functioning and flowing nicely for you. And that's through your efforts, that's through the planning and all of the hard work that you've been doing in the physical world. So in terms of your employment, your career, your just the work that you're doing that's related to how you earn money, right? So that's really balanced. I think it's in such great harmony, not only with just the environment, but it's in a real harmony with your expectations or with your intentions. So I feel like it's a very satisfying week for you. I feel like you really think you're on the right path, you're doing things appropriately, you're receiving the benefit and the satisfaction from that. And then with this High Priestess, it's only going to get better from here. You're going to see an increase, I believe, of this success that you're achieving here. I think is going to just increase as the week goes on. Things going to start to really snowball and really, really start to grow and take off. Okay, whatever this project is. And I hope you leave me some comments and maybe let me know what industry you're in, what type of work you're doing. Because it's very interesting to me to see like how this is going to really grow for you and how this is going to become just more successful than it already is. And like I said, I think that you're already in a pretty good spot. But I think with that High Priestess, you're going to just be receiving even more abundance, more success and satisfaction. In the recent past, I see that you've done a lot of planning and strategizing and maybe reworking your plans, retooling the system a little bit. And I think you've had to go through several iterations of this work or this project or this business that you're involved with. I think that you've had to kind of scrap it and start it over again, perhaps. I think that you've really been working hard to get all of the details right. And now things are just coming together. With this Temperance card or this Art card, I feel like you've had to tailor your ambitions and your expectations to the actual realities of the work. But I also feel like you are kind of tailoring and altering reality in order to be more in tune with your expectations and the reality, right? I mean, to your inner reality. So I think it's really a nice balance between your inner state and the external world. I think your expectations are reasonable and they are appropriate to the situation. And I think you've really been able to strategize and plan and analyze and just get the right mixture of all these different energies that we see here in this card in order to get this kind of outcome that you wanted, this success that we see right here. Now, in the immediate future, we have the 6 of Swords. So I think this is a clarity of thought. I think this is a really balanced mental, intellectual, analytical approach to the work that you're doing. This card could indicate a couple things that might be a little bit unexpected. It could indicate travel. Traditionally, this card is all about travel. Don't ask me why, I'm not really sure. But traditionally, it's about travel. That could be in your future. You may be required to travel for work or for this business that you're in. But this card also could mean that you need to reflect on these plans and expectations and really reanalyze and reassess your entire strategy, your entire plan to make sure that it is balanced and harmonious, and just that everything is worked out the way you need it to be, just to make sure you didn't leave any details out, just to make sure you didn't overlook anything, nothing needs to be adjusted. Just make sure your plan, your strategy for the future is top notch, okay? Because I see that, in the future it's going to require a little bit more thinking and planning, okay? Now, if this does involve travel, okay, that could be meaningful too. It could really be that you're going to be required elsewhere in order to make this whole business, this whole situation, whatever this is, this work that you're doing, to make that kind of succeed and go to the next level that we see with the High Priestess. This kind of increase and this taking off and this kind of snowballing of your success is going to maybe require some travel elsewhere, but it is certainly going to require you to reassess the situation and alter your plans as necessary in order to maximize growth and return and satisfaction and success going into the future. Okay, so that's the vibe I'm getting from the Six of Swords. Now, a couple other cards that I find very interesting. First one we're going to get to, I would say, is this Queen of Discs. Now, this is at the top of the spread. This is kind of casting a light on the entire reading today. And for me, this card is saying that you are building something that's going to be enduring and lasting and long-term. Okay, I don't think that this is just a flash in the pan. I don't think this is a whim. I don't think this is a temporary success for you. Leo, I think that you're going to be really extending this out into the future for really the foreseeable future. There's some indications here that are kind of saying that you should temper yourself a little bit and some things that you need to do in order for this to be long-lasting and enduring. But I really think the intention with you is to make this something that's going to last a long time, right? Something that's going to just create security for the future, not just for the right now. And I think the universe is kind of responding to you there and saying, yeah, if you do all the things right, you put in the hard work, and you're smart about it, you're going to have this long, enduring success, this lasting success, and you're going to mature as this business person, as this successful Queen of Discs on the physical plane. You're going to have everything around you that you need, that you want. You're going to be manifesting this reality of success and abundance, and that's what we get with the Queen of Discs here. Now, the other card I mentioned is down below, and that is the Empress. Now, she's in the position of being kind of a subconscious, unconscious tendency, something that you maybe have kind of held onto from the past, something that's kind of grounding you and rooting you as well. So with the Empress card, I think this is really revealing that your hard work and success is, one, it's not going to just be a selfish success. You're not just doing this work for you. I think that there are a lot of people in your life, friends, family, loved ones, that you are taking care of, that you are doing this work for. Maybe you are working to secure this long-term future for yourself, but also for your family, right? So I think there's a lot of love and generosity and a lot of kind of philanthropy involved with this. I think not that you're doing this work as a charity, but you're doing it because you want to be able to take care of other people, because you have so much love in you. And that's another aspect of the Empress here. It's just this kind of, unbridled love, this unconditional love that you have for those people that are close to you. And I think that's part of the motivation for doing all of this work. Now, the other indication here is that you may have a tendency to deny yourself the fulfillment of your own kind of romantic or love desires, right? Your emotional needs might be taking a back seat because of all this work and all this success that you're having. You might be neglecting that part of yourself a little bit. So the Empress is there to remind you of all of that, and that's why she is here in this kind of underlying foundational, more unconscious, grounding, rooting energy. Okay, so I think it's important to keep all of that in mind while you're involved in all of this work here. Don't forget to hit that like button, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Now, moving on to your ego, your state of mind, your headspace, we have the Nine of Wands, and this card is strength. This card is a connection between the external and internal worlds, which we hinted at with the Six of Discs at the beginning, if you remember. I think you have that strong connection with your inner world, with your inner reality, with your kind of emotional nature, and I think that, again, is kind of part of this card that we were talking about, where you might be kind of neglecting or sacrificing or just putting your own emotional needs as a secondary priority. And I think you know that. I think this Nine of Wands is saying, yes, you are doing that. You are aware that you're doing that because you have this very strong connection to your inner world. And I think it's part of that inner world, those inner desires, that emotions that you are in some ways sublimating and using it as fuel for your external work, for this business, career, money situation that we're talking about. So I really think that you're transmuting all of that emotional energy into your work life. Okay, you're kind of channeling it into these external endeavors and successes and achievements, right? And I think this card's there to remind you of that, and the Empress is there to remind you that eventually you're going to have to take care of those emotional needs and really work towards fulfilling them and satisfying them in order to maintain this, I think, this balance between the sun and the moon, your head and your heart, your internal and external worlds, which is the source of your strength. I think that's the vibe I'm getting there. Now, in terms of this actual work that you're doing, the situation around you, I think there is a lot of fiery energy going on there. Generally, this reading has a lot of balance between the fire and air and earth. There's not a lot of water here at all, and that again is suggesting that there might be this emotional internal part of you that you are kind of putting on the back burner for now. Okay, and now with the environment around you, there's some fire here. There's some dueling fire. These two wands are kind of battling each other for control. So I think you might be in the midst of a little bit of a power struggle in this situation. There might be a couple other people that are contending for that like number one spot, or who want to make the decisions, or who are just your direct rivals for that, that promotion or that increase, that leadership role. I think there are other people that are competing for that with you. Okay, we see that with the Two of Wands here. I think it's a fairly strong indication that there are some challenges around you from these people who are kind of contending for the same success that you're after. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, as far as this Eight of Discs that we're looking at now, we did see the Six of Swords before as the immediate future, and kind of the reassessing of the plans, the re-strategizing, the possibility of travel and having to adjust your strategy for the new situation that you're in. And this is kind of along those same lines. This is suggesting prudence. This is suggesting paying attention to the details, slowing down, and ensuring that you have everything in place, that you didn't miss anything. Is there anything that you've overlooked? And that's right along with the Six of Swords, like I said. But this Eight of Discs is literally about looking at the physical elements and moving things around as they need to be moved around, and just paying attention to those physical details. The Six was about the same thing, but more in terms of the mental work, right? The planning and strategizing and adjusting all of your next moves for this new situation. And now we see that you're doing the same thing, but on the physical plane. So you're having to really pay attention to those details, take things slow, and make sure that you are really not missing anything in this situation, all right? And that's going to really, really ensure this success that's coming, and to really, really keep us in line with this Six of Discs and the High Priestess, this really strong, I think, really abundant increase in the success that you already have now. So it really is going to the next level. It's really transcending whatever the baseline is now. It's going to be, quite a bit higher and more intense than where it is now. As the long-term outcome card, the kind of future prediction, we do have the Prince of Wands, another fire card. This card, takes a little bit of the enthusiasm and passion, a little bit of the understanding and compassion, the empathy and the understanding of other people, and just kind of tries to put this into action. Okay, so I think that this really is a culmination of all these other cards, the hard work, the good strategies, the formulation of your plans, the analysis, the attention to details. And now it's time to really just put that into action. And I think going into the long-term future, beyond the six, this is the immediate future. This was the kind of reassessing the position and tweaking your strategy and really adjusting your plans for the new situation. And this, the long term, is you acting on those plans, acting on all of these details and all of this planning and strategizing, and putting all of that into action and really creating this success and really running with it and grabbing it and going with it and taking advantage of it. The downside to this card is that all of this fiery energy isn't going to last forever. And I think that is relating back to this Nine of Wands. This was another fire card. And this is that connection with your inner self. This is the strength that you get from really being in harmony with your internal world. Your external reality is really kind of vibing and matching with your internal reality. And I think that is very important in order for you to continue with this fiery, ambitious energy and just running with all of this and taking full advantage of the opportunity that's here for you. So I think in order to take advantage and to keep going and to not lose any steam, I think you really have to have that connection with your inner self and really, really take the lesson of the Empress as well, and begin to assess your inner state and your emotional needs and desires, and how that is going to factor into your plans for the future, okay? Pretty straightforward reading. We do have that 11th card. Let's see what that 11th card will tell us. The confirmation card. Okay, 10. The 10 of Wands. So this, again, is really similar to what I've just been saying over here in this section of the Celtic Cross. With all this fiery energy and the kind of, slowing down to pay attention to the details, the competition, and the future state, I really think that with this 10 of Wands, this is that fiery energy that's reached its end, right? This is kind of, it's reached its limit, and now it really can't go on. So I think that this is more than a confirmation. This is somewhat of a warning, right? This is saying that with all of this fiery energy that we had over here, if you don't reconnect with your inner nature and get in tune with your emotional desires and your emotional needs, your inner kind of needs, you're going to exhaust all of this fiery energy that you have. Because if you really are sublimating all of this emotional energy in order to fuel your conscious activity, your outward activity, it's not going to last. Eventually it's going to reach the end of its strength, its motion, its fuel is going to finally be depleted. And I think that's what the 10 of Wands is telling us, that there is a point where it's just going to become completely exhausted. There is the potential there for you really to run out of steam and to kind of lose the momentum here. All right, so this confirmation card, is telling us that I think the reading, more than just being centered on, oh wow, you're really successful and it's going to get even better. I mean, that's great news, right? But I think the underlying current, the more, kind of maybe the more central focus over here really should be how can you sustain this energy and this success and ambition and this achievement? And I really think it is by satisfying your inner desires and needs, and really tuning into the internal world and getting that balance established again so that it can continue to fuel your outward activity. Otherwise, I think that there is some exhaustion and just being overwhelmed energetically by all of this. All right, so I think that this is pretty straightforward for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section. I thank you very much for letting me read for you today. If you want to stick around for the extended version, you can become a member of this channel, and all of the information is down in the description box. This was your weekly tarot forecast on Dove and Serpent Tarot.